I don't think there is a word to describe the pain. If it wasn't for honoring my children and wanting to tell the world their story, I would not be talking.
Mohammed Abu Salha says he is numb, still in shock over the loss of his two daughters, Rasan and Yusor, and Dia Barakat, Yusor's husband.
And no matter how much I grieve, I cannot grieve like my wife does. I don't think we can feel it well now until we see the bodies and have the burial. We're in shock. Two children of ours and our son-in-law.
All three shot execution style, a bullet to the head, a frantic 911 call Tuesday night of shots fired at the victim's apartment complex near the University of North Carolina's Chapel Hill campus where they lived.
And I just heard gunshots. I don't know what building it came from, but I heard kids screaming.
Okay. How long did you hear it?
How long? Probably 30 seconds ago.
Okay, how many shots did you hear?
Multiple. I mean, at least between 5 and 10, I would say.
Later that night, the victim's neighbor, 46-year-old Craig Hicks, turned himself into police. They charged him with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Now there are questions about the motive. All 3 victims were Muslim. The women's father called the attack a hate crime, saying his daughters and his son-in-law were targeted because of their faith.
My daughter, Yusor, honest to God, told us on more than 2 occasions that this man came knocking at the door and fighting about everything with a gun on his belt more than twice. She told us, "Daddy, I think he hates us for who we are and how we look."
Investigators say the shooting was the result of a long-standing dispute between neighbors.
I did want to make sure that folks knew that based on all the information that our office and that law enforcement has at this time, that the events of yesterday are not part of a targeted campaign against Muslims in North Carolina or anything other than an individual event.
Hicks' wife expressed her condolences, also saying her husband's motive for the murder had nothing to do with religion.
I can say with my absolute belief that this incident had nothing to do with religion or victims' faith, but in fact was related to the long-standing parking disputes that my husband had with the neighbors.
Barakat was a second-year dental student, his wife set to begin her studies at the same UNC School of Dentistry. Her sister was also a student at nearby NC State in Raleigh. Barakat was also raising money to provide dental care to Syrian refugees. Abu Salha called them the kind of children parents wish for, now gone.
They leave a scent of flowers and a breeze and a light in our lives. They will be missed. I don't think I can feel my sadness yet. It will come when I'm by myself. It will come at night. It will come when I see their faces and the wounds and the blood and the stitches.
These Kurdish fighters are holding on to very important ground. Known as Peshmerga, they say ISIS attacks them every day, sometimes by driving huge truck bombs into their defences.
This is probably the most contested piece of territory in all of northern Iraq at the moment, because from this position, the Peshmerga have effectively cut off ISIS from being resupplied across the border in Syria.
An ISIS outpost is just 800 yards away. For the Kurds, taking and holding this crossroad is a key objective in their strategy of surrounding and choking off Mosul, the ISIS stronghold in northern Iraq. And it's another sign of the huge progress the Kurds have made in rolling back territory ISIS initially conquered so easily.
So we have to drive them out of this entire region.
The head of Kurdistan Security Council says the Peshmerga have taken back almost all the ground they can until the new retrained Iraqi army is ready to take the field.
There are some limitations of how far we can go, because we don't want to create any political sensitivities with the Arabs. And for the rest of the region, we need cooperation and the Iraqi army to participate.
Much of the territory reclaimed by Kurdish forces has been scarred dramatically by war. Homes flattened, villages wiped out.
ISIS blew up some of these homes as they retreated. Others they rigged with explosives to detonate when people returned. Locals say 4 people were killed here when they opened the front door.
Across this recent battlefield, people have started returning to what's left of their homes, even as the war against ISIS still rages, only a short distance away.
In